So today, I want to show you why your business suit matters and the 5 elements that help your business, signal credibility, confidence, and most importantly, readiness to execute at the highest level. Do you ever wonder why some customers do not want to charge the price that you're setting? You ever wonder why you get pushback on price? It's not always because you're too expensive. Sometimes it's because your business doesn't look expensive. It's that simple. And many entrepreneurs want that premium pricing, but they're not investing in building systems that justify the price. It's like, a career where you don't get the promotion, and it's not because you're not competent, it's because you don't carry that executive presence. And presentation is key. Stay to the end because number 5 is the crown. Let's start with establishing the framework. We live in an era of misplaced simplicity, right? Everybody wants to be in sweatpants, t-shirts, working remote, laying on the couch and working, doing the very bare minimum. You're just trying to say, hey, focus on outcomes. And effort matters, but the problem with that mindset is the customer doesn't see your effort, they see your presence. When your presence feels sloppy, the perception attached to your expertise becomes compromised. It does not matter how much you know. It is extremely important to be thorough in how you show yourself. Right? So what exactly is your business suit? We're not talking today about that super 200 merino wool Italian custom business suit. That's not where it ends, or that's not where it starts, right? It's how your business presents itself through execution, through operations, and through communication. When one piece is off, the entire suit starts to look cheap, right? So even if your work is excellent, you need to ensure that these other pieces are working well. Now, let's break down the 5 elements you need to be thinking about. Element number 1 is your pitch deck. Your pitch deck is extremely important. You see, in 2026, a professional pitch deck should tell a clean story. Your pitch deck should tell the problem you're solving, the solution, why your company is a differentiator, the expected outcome, next steps. No crowded slides, no confusion at all, right? You see, I've negotiated contracts as a CFO for clients, and I can tell you this. There's been a few times where within the first 10 minutes of a pitch, I know whether I'm going to work with that company or not. How come? Why? Because I'm paying attention to how they present on paper. How you present on paper is a reflection of how you think. And if your thinking looks scattered, crowded, or unclear, that signals to me wasted resources, lack of expertise, and I'm just intimidated by the prospect of working with you because it's going to be a lot of back and forth. Think about it, right? You're about to have heart surgery, and if your heart surgeon can explain the procedure simply, would you want him to operate on you? Not at all. A strong pitch deck answers one question and one question only very clearly. How will you help the customer? When you answer that question properly, it demonstrates competence and it builds trust immediately that enables you close the deal. Now let's talk about element number 2. Element number 2 is pricing, the magic one, the thing that gets every business excited, right? Nothing exposes insecurity faster in your business than unclear pricing. Let's say you charge $500 for a service and then you realize there is, many competitors charging $2,500 for the same service. It's rare that the difference is always skill. Sometimes, most of the times, it's professionalism, it's structure, it's attention to detail. It's a complete business suit from intake to execution. In 2026, you want your pricing to be simple and structured with clear tiers, with a value proposition approach at each level. Don't try to squeeze pennies from the clients. Clients don't appreciate that at all. That is distasteful. You want your pricing to be predictable. And speaking of predictability, flat rates work better. Flat rates will signal experience and confidence. If you do not know at what level to price sometimes, that's a challenge. Use tools that are available. There's many pricing tools out there. Do some research, do some market comparisons. Even with Google and ChatGPT, you can start there. But when you raise your prices, you also remember that the fear to concede, right, will come. So don't concede. If you discount your prices too early, right? You will never reach the pricing point that you want your business to be at. So you need to find clients that can afford your standards and rise to meet their expectations, right? But you've got to set your pricing with clarity. Element number 3 is your business contract. How many times have you found yourself doing business without a contract? And just remember that doing business without a contract is shabby and borderline dangerous. Right? A professional contract will clearly define a few things. And here are some that you must pay attention to. Who's involved in that contract? What service is being delivered? What are the responsibilities of, the parties within the contract? What are the terms of the agreement? What are the payment terms? What are the risk protections to protect the buyer and the seller? How do you resolve disputes? I once had a client that would take up to 120 days to pay their invoices. And that bothered me. So I went back to look at the contract, and what did I find? That there were no expectations in the contract that determined how soon they were required to make payment after receiving an invoice. Corrected that immediately, and payments that I used to receive in 120 days to 300 days, I started receiving in 15 days. A strong contract is not scary. It has to be simple, not 20 pages, but just a succinct contract covering the main elements. It makes your client secure that you are running a well thought out and a well executed operation. So you have to ensure you establish clear contracts. All right. So let's go now to element number 4. That's your website. That's your landing page. Extremely important. Many businesses ignore the importance of a website on day one. Remember that the website, that's going to be your informal background check, yes? After that prospect has had a great conversation with you, guess what they're going to do? They will go online and they will vet you. So your website has to be fast. It's got to be mobile friendly, very clean, and most importantly, it's got to be consistent. Your messaging on your website should match your pitch and definitely match your verbal claims. Your website needs to confirm the core competencies that you have presented on your pitch deck. You don't go talk to a customer about web design. You talk to the customer about web design, you bring your web design expertise, and then they go to your website and it's screaming cybersecurity audit. That doesn't make sense. Things like that will scare a customer away, right? So you've got to hire professionals as needed that will ensure they tell excellent digital stories and make sure these stories are consistent across your digital footprint. Now let's go to element number 5, which is extremely important. It's your communication. This is the one you absolutely cannot afford to get wrong. If you mess everything else up, you've got to get this right. Communication is verbal, communication is written, communication is body language, communication is appearance. All these put together make up the face of your business. And customers are increasingly investing in the story, being connected to the story behind the face of the business. Likability is a huge factor, and this is how you build likability. It can be credential, right? But it's driving major decisions. Your communication, it's not a matter of perfect communication. It's a matter of consistent communication. Consistent communication that gets better over time. You can't show up polished one day and the next day it looks like you just crawled out of bed or you just got home from the bar. You have to structure your emails with intentionality. You treat everyone with respect from CEO to janitor. There's this business executive who mentioned that he would make decisions on vendors and potential new hires by taking them out to a restaurant and watching how they treated the waiters or waitresses of that restaurant. It makes a big deal. It's part of your business suit. And when you bring consistency and excellence to those areas that others are ignoring, your business stands out and you begin to justify that higher pricing tier. So here's the truth most people miss. Your systems speak more than you do. In 2026, people won't worry so much only about what you say. They're going to vet your execution. They're going to examine your pitch. They're going to look at your pricing. They're going to investigate your contracts. They're going to scroll through your website. They'll pay attention to your communication. So if you maximize your business suit, you're going to build a company that the market simply cannot ignore. Now, my friends, if this helped you, like, share, join my community, and subscribe so you don't miss what's next. We are invest it in growing one business at a time. See you at the top.